My name is Margaret Ellis, and I'm 77 years old. I'm sitting alone at my kitchen table this morning, the same one I've eaten at for nearly 40 years, and I finally understand why I always felt like I was running out of time. It isn't because I was busy. It isn't because life moved fast. It's because I kept believing there would be more of it later. I don't say that with drama. I say it because it's true and because there isn't much later left for me now. My hands shake when I pour my tea, not badly, just enough that I notice. I notice everything now. The way the house sounds emptier than it used to. The way the phone doesn't ring unless it's a doctor's office or a pharmacy. The way mornings arrive, whether I'm ready for them or not. I'm not telling this because I want to be remembered. I've already accepted that I won't be remembered the way I once imagined. I'm telling it because there's a quiet kind of mistake that doesn't announce itself until it's finished with you. And I lived inside that mistake for most of my life without knowing its name. When you're young, people warn you about the obvious dangers, bad choices, big failures, falling in with the wrong people. No one warns you about delay. No one tells you that waiting can hollow a life out just as completely as wrecking it. In my 20s, I felt rushed all the time. I couldn't have told you why. There was no clock on the wall counting down. But there was a tightness in my chest that followed me everywhere, like I was already behind. I worked as a secretary then. Downtown office, beige walls, fluorescent lights that buzzed faintly if you listened closely. I typed letters for men who rarely looked up when they spoke. I answered phones and kept calendars and made coffee that no one thanked me for. I told myself it was temporary. Everything was temporary back then. I'd sit on the bus ride home and think, I'll live later. I'll be myself later. This is just the part where I get things in order. I said that a lot, get things in order. I married Thomas when I was 26. He was steady, kind enough. He paid his bills on time. He didn't drink too much. My mother approved of him, which mattered more to me than I realized at the time. I didn't feel swept away. I felt relieved. Relief can look like love when you're tired of feeling uncertain. Thomas wanted children right away. I said not yet, just a little later. I wanted to save more. I wanted to feel more settled. I wanted to feel like I'd arrived somewhere before bringing anyone else into my life. Later became a flexible word. We bought a small house with creaky stairs and a backyard that never quite grew grass properly. I told myself the feeling of hurry would stop once we owned something permanent. It didn't. In my 30s, I was always preparing for something that never fully arrived, preparing for a promotion, preparing for motherhood, preparing for a version of myself who felt finished. I'd rush through dinners so I could clean up, rush through conversations so I could get to the next task. Even leisure felt scheduled, like something to complete rather than inhabit. Thomas would say, sit down for a minute. I'd say, in a second. That second stretched into years. My mother started calling more often around then. Small things at first. She'd ask what I was making for dinner, or tell me about a neighbor I barely remembered. Sometimes I'd let the phone ring. I was tired. I'd call her back later. Later became tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week. She never complained. That's what hurts the most now. She always said, I know you're busy. She died suddenly when I was 41. A stroke. No warning. One week she was asking me if I still had that blue sweater she liked. The next I was standing in a funeral home trying to remember the sound of her voice. I told myself everyone has regrets when someone dies, that mine were normal, that I'd do better going forward. But doing better requires noticing what you're doing wrong. And I still thought time was something I could manage. I finally had a child at 42, a daughter, Emily, Holding her for the first time felt like standing still inside a moving world. I remember thinking, now I'll slow down. But I didn't. I loved her deeply. That's true. But love doesn't automatically teach you how to be present. I fed her, bathed her, packed lunches, attended school meetings. I did all the visible things. What I didn't do was linger. When she wanted to talk at bedtime, I'd listen with half my attention drifting toward tomorrow's responsibilities. When she showed me drawings, I praised them quickly, already thinking of what needed to be done next. I thought I was being efficient. I thought that was responsible. I didn't realize I was teaching her something without meaning to, that people you love are always slightly elsewhere. By the time Emily was a teenager, she spent more time in her room. I told myself that was normal, that she'd come back around later. Later kept its promises right up until it didn't. Thomas and I drifted quietly. No shouting, no dramatic betrayal, just fewer shared moments, separate routines, evenings spent in the same room doing different things. Sometimes I'd look at him and feel a small panic, like I was losing something without knowing how to stop it. But panic felt inconvenient. I had too much to manage. He had a heart attack at 58, lived but never quite recovered. The house got quieter, his energy shrank, mine was already gone. I remember sitting in the hospital room watching the machines breathe for him and thinking, I thought we had more time to fix things. That thought visited me often after that. Emily moved out at 18, college, a life of her own. We hugged in the driveway. I told her to call. She said she would. She did at first, then less, then mostly on holidays. I told myself that was the natural order, that parents step back, that closeness returns later when everyone has more time. Later was beginning to feel like a rumor. When Thomas died, I was 64, another heart attack. This one didn't leave room for recovery. I handled it well, people said. I organized the service, wrote the obituary, sorted through paperwork with calm efficiency. At night, alone in the bed we'd shared for decades, I felt something I didn't have a name for then. It wasn't grief exactly. It was the weight of all the conversations we'd postponed until they became impossible. I retired 2 years later. I remember my last day at the office clearly. Cake in the break room, polite speeches. Someone said, "Enjoy all your free time now." I smiled. Everyone did. The truth is, free time is only comforting if you know how to live inside it. I didn't. The days stretched, mornings blurred into afternoons. Without deadlines, I didn't know where to place myself. That was when the feeling I'd carried my whole life finally caught up to me. The sense of running out of time without knowing what I was supposed to be running toward. I tried filling it. Volunteering, book clubs, classes at the community center, none of it stuck. Emily visited occasionally. She was kind, busy. She'd sit across from me at this same kitchen table and check her phone between sentences. I recognized the posture. I'd worn it myself. I wanted to tell her so many things, apologize for things I hadn't known were wrong at the time, explain myself, bridge the distance. But I didn't want to burden her. I told myself there would be a better moment later. Later is a cruel word. It sounds patient. It sounds reasonable. It doesn't sound like loss. The turning point came quietly, not with sirens or dramatic news, just a doctor's appointment where a man younger than my daughter told me my heart wasn't as strong as it used to be. He spoke gently. He said we'd manage it, medication, monitoring, lifestyle adjustments. What he didn't say, but what I heard anyway, was that the horizon had moved closer, That night, I lay awake thinking about all the years I'd spent feeling hurried, only to realize I hadn't actually been chasing anything that mattered. I wasn't running out of time back then. I was giving it away piece by piece because I assumed there was plenty more where it came from. Some things can't be fixed once you see them clearly. I can't go back and sit longer on the edge of Emily's bed when she was 7 and wanted to tell me about a dream. I can't answer my mother's calls with patience instead of obligation. I can't ask Thomas the questions I saved for a calmer season that never arrived. Those moments are gone, not dramatically, just permanently. What surprises me most about old age isn't the loneliness, it's the clarity, the way everything unnecessary falls away, leaving only the truths you avoided when distraction was easier. I see now that the feeling of urgency I lived with wasn't a warning about time ending. It was a quiet signal that I wasn't present in my own life. I thought fulfillment was something you reached after completing enough tasks, after proving yourself, after earning rest. But life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It happens while you're preparing. If you're listening to this and you're younger than I am, I don't want to tell you what to do. I wouldn't have listened anyway. I just want you to know what I wish I'd understood earlier. That time doesn't feel precious when you believe it's abundant. It only becomes precious when you can see the bottom of it. Pay attention to the moments that feel ordinary. Those are the ones that don't come back. Notice who you rush through conversations with. Notice who you assume will always be there. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need grand gestures, just fewer delays. Say the thing today, even if it feels awkward. Sit a little longer. Listen without planning your response. I'm not offering wisdom, I'm offering hindsight, which is quieter and heavier. My days are smaller now. I wake up, I make tea, I watch the light move across the kitchen floor. Sometimes Emily calls, sometimes she doesn't. I don't feel cheated anymore. I feel honest. I understand now why I always felt like I was running out of time. I wasn't afraid of death. I was afraid of arriving at the end without having truly been there. There isn't much time left for me. I know that. And strangely, that knowledge has finally slowed me down. I take my tea to the table and sit. I don't rush anymore. If this meant something to you, you don't have to do anything about it. Just hold it quietly for a moment. That's enough. I'm Margaret. I'm 77, and this is the truth of my life, told at the only pace I have left.